Hey everybody, it's Finneas. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well today. Man, I just watched a video, like a 4-minute video, from Southern Prepper. Now, I don't know his channel. I just happened to see a title while I was scrolling. Oh, I want to see that. And he was at some grocery store, and he was trying to, check out. And the lady next to him, in her cart, she had some potatoes and something else, and she didn't have enough for the ground beef. She couldn't afford ground beef, so she had to, I guess she was putting the ground beef back, or anyway, the Southern Prepper guy gave her a $20 bill and had her and paid for her groceries, her potatoes, her ground beef, and something else. But man, how sad is it that can't even afford a pound of ground beef? See, that's who should get extra SNAP benefits. Let's eliminate the fraud and give extra to people like that. Anyway, it's just sad that it's gotten down to that little old ladies are buying potatoes because they're cheap and they're filling, and she can even afford the ground beef. That's terrible. All right, but today, as you saw in the beginning, we're going to talk about the restaurant crisis. Finally, like, if everybody just stopped eating out, everybody's budget would everybody's accounts would rise, because eating out is the worst. It's the most wasteful thing, in my opinion, you can do. And I've done it, believe me. I don't do it anymore. Once in a while, I'll do it if I make a video. Like, I'm thinking about making a McRib video, see if they're still good. But eating out as a whole has just become a complete waste of money to me. It's just a waste of money. It's so expensive. It doesn't taste good anymore. The food quality is terrible. But let's go over some TikTok clips and let's see what's going on. Let's see who's hurting, who's closing down, and later in the video, we'll hear from an economist about McDonald's. A lot of economists, one of the ways you can gauge how the economy is doing is through McDonald's. All right, so let's check out this Wendy's clip.
Hey, what's up, America? The fast food restaurant Wendy's is closing 300 stores. Yes, that's correct. The Ohio-based restaurant chain is closing 300 out of 6,000 Wendy's because apparently customers can't afford the food anymore. On top of that, there's a growing consensus that the food is starting to taste like shit.
Wendy's is closing 300 stores. That's a lot. Now, they have 6,000 stores, so it's still 300 stores is a lot of stores to close. And this is the only beginning. Remember, we talked about AI is going to take 89% of restaurant jobs. Wendy's is okay. I do like the Baconator. I think the Baconator is like $10 now just for the burger. Let's see. How much is a Baconator burger from Wendy's? $9. $9 for one burger. All right, let's check this clip out.
It's not even September yet, but I have a prediction for 2026. In 2026, at least 15,000 restaurants nationwide will close. On average, about 10 to 12,000, but next year you could see as many as 15,000 or higher, because prices are just skyrocketing for food. Expenses are going up. Margins in owning a restaurant, a lot of people don't know this, but the margins are often in the low single digits. I mean, you're talking about a profit margin that's razor thin for most restaurants. And in 2026, many are simply not going to make it, and they're going to close their doors.
I agree with him. I think there's going to be a lot of closings. as the economy gets worse and worse and worse, that's one of the first things that has to go. Just stop eating out. All right, let's look at this next one.
Why aren't we talking about the fact that restaurants are all slow? All over the country, especially right now in Southern California, are extremely slow. Like, and I'm not talking about those restaurants that are like mostly alcohol based. I'm talking about like restaurants. Everyone's like, oh, it's because it's holiday just happened. Nah, restaurants are getting slower. I think it has to do with the economy. The other day, I went grocery shopping, and for one meal, it was like $70 for home. For like 5 people.
See, I don't see that as much as he does where restaurants are slow. I'm still amazed how many people go to restaurants daily. A new coffee shop just opened by our house. Now it's 2 restaurants down from a Starbucks, and then like a half mile away there's another coffee, like little mobile home trailer thingy. Like, and because it's new, this coffee restaurant, very small, smaller than a Starbucks. The line's out the door. You know the coffee's $5, $6, $7, $8 a cup of coffee, and it's just, I know it's new, so that will die down, but still, the line is out the door for many, many weeks now. But I am starting to see slow times. Like, we have a Whataburger, and sometimes I'll take an order for Uber Eats. I have to go pick up to deliver at Whataburger. Whataburger is always dead, and Whataburger is actually decent. Like, when they first got in my town, I would get these coupons. You can get a whole burger, drink, and fries, $19. But this made the burger was free if you bought a drink and fries. So it made it $6.10. So I had several of those coupons, and the burgers were actually really good. For $6, the burgers were huge. But Whataburger is never busy here. It was when they first opened. It was just like the coffee shop, super crowded. But now no one's ever there. It's dead every single time. Now, McDonald's is about 2 miles from my house. It's off the highway, so that explains it. McDonald's, that one's always busy. Starbucks is busy 80% of the time. Sometimes it's a ghost town. But I'm starting to see more ghost townness. But still, it's still a lot of people eating at restaurants. All right, let's check out this next one's about Denny's. Remember Denny's? I have been at Denny's forever.
Denny's is closing 180 locations by the end of 2025, and this is after they closed 84 by the end of 2024. Now, this is approaching almost 1 million layoff jobs so far in America in 2025. So when looking at this with Denny's, wondering what happens. So Denny's is saying that due to inflation, that due to food prices, that due to transportation prices, that they're going to close unprofitable locations, and they're going to concentrate on locations that are profitable.
Denny's. Remember the Grand Slam meal? That's all I remember. Let's see what that costs nowadays. How much is a Grand Slam meal at Denny's? I couldn't even tell you what that thing cost.
A Grand Slam meal at Denny's usually costs between $5.99 and $9.99.
That doesn't seem.
Prices can change.
That doesn't seem.
They sometimes offer value.
That doesn't seem terrible. $6 to $10. Depends what you get, I guess. But they're closing 180 restaurants. I don't. In my town, again, I'm in a small town. We don't have a Denny's. The next town over is a bigger town. They have all these kind of restaurants. Let's look at this next clip.
Nope. He's not going shopping anywhere. I'm not going shopping anywhere. You're not going shopping anywhere. Restaurants are closing. I just talked to another restaurant owner yesterday at Lizzie's. Her food costs are up. Her labor costs are up. Her wholesale good costs are up. And she knows that if she raises her prices, she'll go out of business because they're already high. So we're talking Ukraine. We're talking Israel. We're talking Zelensky's sued. We're talking redistricting. We're not talking Epstein or economy, the E topics. Epstein and economy.
Yeah, it's kind of lose-lose. The restaurants have to, because all their prices are going up. Remember when the eggs were $6, $7, $8 a dozen? Waffle House started charging 50 cents per egg extra on top of that. I mean, these restaurants, some of them, have to raise their prices. They have to. And what's happening is a lot of people are seeing those prices like, nah. But see, McDonald's did come back with a $8 Big Mac meal. See, I'm not mad at that price. I'm not going to buy it because for $8, I can still do better at the grocery store. But that seems reasonable to me. $8 for a Big Mac meal seems like a treat if you want to have a treat and you want to eat out on a Friday night or something. I'm not mad at the $8 Big Mac meal. I think that's kind of fair. But it's a lose-lose because every price is going up. The restaurants have to raise their prices because their food costs are going up and their electricity bills are going up and everything's going up for them also. Is some corporate greed? Probably, I'm sure. And then when they raise prices, the more and more of us sit back and say, well now, because for a while, a Big Mac meal was 12, 13, 14, and probably is, and still in like California and other places. That's not worth it. $8 is a little more fair, I think. But once fast food gets high, it's disgusting. Remember the Bud Light thing? Remember when Bud Light got, everybody was boycotting it because of, I forget all the political crap. It's not hard to boycott Bud Light. It's mediocre anyway. So it's very easy to say, okay, screw Bud Light. It's very easy for these, when the price gets too high at these restaurants, like, okay, it's not a big loss. I'm not paying, $19 for a Wendy's Baconator meal. It's not worth that. So it's not hard to boycott that. All right, let's check this next clip out.
Have you guys noticed how many restaurants and stores have silently closed this year? I'm Molly Harris with the news. So if we just looked at West Midtown in Atlanta, at least 11 restaurants have permanently closed and others are about to be. West Egg Cafe, closed. Humble Pie, closed. Fishmonger, closed. Wagamama Super Rica LaFat, closed. Culinary Dropout, they literally just opened like a year and a half ago. Tostino Wine Cafe, closed. Snooze, I was eating there. Was I single-handedly keeping them in business? Anyway, Slim and Husky's Pizza closed and Baffy closed too. And that's just West Midtown. Like, businesses in general are not having a good time. Macy's closed a bunch of stores, so did Big Lots, Family Dollar, Walgreens, Denny's, and GameStop. Foot Locker plans to close like 400 stores. Party City straight up went out of business. Y'all weren't going. It was too expensive. They know that. We already lost the Toys R Us. Also expensive. Honestly, none of this should be a surprise because y'all aren't going. Y'all are going to Amazon, Walmart, Costco, and Home Depot because they're doing great. Visit your favorite place before it's gone, y'all. Like if these updates help and follow for more news.
Now she's talking about, it sounds like more mom and pop types, but in her little Atlanta area, in one little, I guess, downtown area in Atlanta. That's another thing. We're talking about the big chains closing, which definitely can hurts the economy with all the employees that are going to get laid off. But man, it's gotta be brutal for mom and pop stores. It's gotta be. For something like Wendy's and McDonald's, they have a big bank account to stand behind them and keep them afloat and keep them going. Little mom and pops, they don't have any money to keep this stuff going. So when customers stop coming, it's only a matter of months before they gotta close the doors. A lot of these restaurants. All right, let's see this next clip.
A shocking number of Canadians say they've stopped eating out at restaurants. The latest MNP Consumer Debt Index conducted by Ipsos found that nearly 3 in 10 Canadians surveyed resorted to eating less to save money. And Canadians think twice before going out to eat, as 44% of people said they no longer eat in restaurants altogether or said they no longer get takeout.
44% of people in Canada say they stop eating at restaurants. What percent of Americans have stopped eating out?
About 40% of Americans are eating out less often due to rising costs. Some studies show nearly 27% haven't eaten at restaurants at all in the last month, and 59% have reduced their dining out habits in the past year.
It's like 59% of consumers have cut back on dining out over the past year. Cut back? I'll cut it out. And that money could be used so many better places. I don't think most people are immune from this bad economy and how things are going to get worse. That money could be distributed in way better places. You can stock up your own food supply. You can pay off some debt. You can get some gold or silver. And to me, any money that goes out to these restaurants is a complete waste of money in these times. These times are no joke. I'd rather take $20 say Friday, I was going to say screw it. I'm gonna order me a couple of pizzas. I don't feel like screwing cooking. I don't care. I deserve it. I worked hard this week. Screw it. And that's $25-$30. In a level-headed, if I sit back and get level-headed and think, man, $30 can go so much better. My last grocery haul, I think, was $33, and I got a lot of food for $33. But any amount of money you spend in a restaurant could go in better places, especially how bad things are getting. And things are not going to get better. And this is my opinion. I think it's gonna get. I think it's gonna get worse. I think AI is gonna change the game. It already is. Oh, that's what I want to tell you guys. There was someone told me. I forget what I already told you guys, but anyway, someone told me about this new Eminem type song with Linkin Park, and I like rap. Okay, I like Eminem and all that kind of stuff. I grew up in all that rap stuff, all Dr. Dre and Public Enemy. I like all the rap stuff. And she told me that she told me the song on YouTube, and I pulled it up. It was amazing. This song, I'm like, oh, what is this? I love this. Then I went. It was a channel on YouTube, so I checked the channel. And they had 72 songs. It was all AI. These were banger #1 hits. All AI. You don't need Sony records. You don't need musicians. You don't need anything. This person made it up through AI. They didn't call it Eminem. They called it Eminem inspired. So it wasn't Eminem's voice. Wasn't his lyrics. The songs were like all 72 songs were amazing #1 hits without a person needed. It's gonna get crazy with the AI stuff. All right. Here's some McDonald's clips. There's several McDonald's clips in a row. Because that's the big daddy. You can tell a lot about the economy of looking at McDonald's.
People don't want to eat at McDonald's anymore. Just put out bad earnings, and one of the things it said is that it's starting to get less store traffic. It also says that it thinks this is true because people view its meals as too expensive. People used to go to McDonald's to get super cheap food, even if it wasn't good food, and it wasn't good for you because it was too fat and had too many calories. But right now, people are looking for someplace cheaper to go than McDonald's. I don't know where that would be, but people will probably find someplace. So when you think about McDonald's going to the future, they better find some cheaper food to sell. Otherwise, they're in big trouble.
Yeah, that's a great point. McDonald's used to be the go-to for a good cheap meal. Remember they used to have 2 for $2s? Or even 2 for $3 filet fishes or whatever it was. Yeah, McDonald's is no longer a value. It's no longer a cheap option anymore. Oh, this is what I thought of. See, this proves I was always not always frugal, but I was frugal-minded. When I was a kid, my mom and dad would always, like on Fridays, we would get pizza, because when I was living in New York, Bob and John's Pizza, Buffalo, New York, it's still there. Or we would get McDonald's every Friday. But I had a choice, especially on the McDonald's days. On the pizza days, I don't think I opted out. But McDonald's Fridays, I had a choice. Just give me the money. I'll eat at home. So even back when I was a kid, I would opt out of McDonald's, and I already had the money, and I would save the money or do whatever with the money. But I didn't. Not to say I never ate fast food my whole life, and I was always anti-fast food. But even back then, I was kind of like, I'd rather have the money than McDonald's. All right, let's see a couple more clips about McDonald's.
Part of what we also saw was that, particularly with middle and lower income consumers, they're feeling under a lot of pressure right now. I think there's a lot of commentary about what's the state of the economy, how's it doing, and what we see is it's really kind of a two-tier economy. Choosing to skip a meal, so we're seeing breakfast. People are actually skipping breakfast, or they're choosing to just eat at home.
I want to turn next to McDonald's hamburgers. The CEO at McDonald's says they've suffered the worst drop in the hamburger business since the pandemic hit in early 2020. So we have a 5-year disaster at McDonald's. If I had time, I would tell you about the current disaster at Starbucks Coffee and a whole bunch of other big chains. Hard economic times are coming. But cutting back on your expenses, going to a restaurant less often, making your own coffee at home, these are all the behaviors of smart working class people who sense what's coming and don't want to be caught not having prepared for it.
All right, so there you go. The reason we talk about this stuff so people can see how bad the economy is getting, because we can also do a video on the car repos. We can do a video on the housing bubble. Like, we're getting hit from all angles. I just ran and did an order real quick. Speaking of a restaurant, so this was an Arby's order. Okay, they got 1 mac and cheese, $5.11 for 1 mac and cheese. And they got 2 turkey gobbler sandwiches, I guess that is. This is Arby's. 2 sandwiches was $17.06. This meal cost this person $22.17 at Arby's. That is, to me, that's just a big waste of money. And I get people want to treat themselves. I get it, because there's so much doom and gloom. But there's so much better things you can do with that. Like I say, this person could have, like, went to the Arby's app or however they ordered it, punched in what they wanted, seen the $22.17 and said, you know, oh, and plus he had to pay the delivery fees and he tipped $5. So this probably cost him $30. So he should go to the Arby's app, put in the food he wants to order, and see the total. So let's say it's $22.17. Then he should take that $22.17 and go right to Aldi or Walmart and buy some food to put away. Or go online and transfer that $22.17 to his savings account. Or go online and pay $22.17 toward his credit card debt. Something that matters more. Because after he eats this in about 5 minutes, it's not going to matter anymore. Yeah, it was a nice 5 minutes. 2 deep-fried turkey gobbler sandwiches actually sound pretty good. But after 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever, I eat fast. Does it really matter? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Also, please say hi in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy it. Have fun. Relax. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video.
Free to good home. He's super cute. Look at that face. Charlie, you can't get in the tree. The whole side of the tree is missing ornaments.
Look what you've done. You've broken my tree. You snapped it in half. You can't sit up there.
Oh my gosh. Really, buddy? That's what we're doing tonight? Unbelievable.